All right, so thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at Target shares. They're falling pretty big after kind of a disappointing earnings report. So if you take a look at Target, basically the shares are slumping after the retailer reported profit decline, warns of soft holiday quarter. Oh no, so this is not good. It's interesting because Walmart just recently reported some pretty good stuff, and their stock's actually climbing quite a bit higher. So when you look at it, I can't call a peak yet. And when you look at just the overall stock of Walmart here, recently it's been going up right here. Okay. Whereas when we compare the Target stock price, it's actually toast and really going down quite a bit. So this is not a good sign there. Now, the other thing that kind of caught my eye when it comes to Target is a few interesting articles here, as that organized retail crime has driven 400 million in extra profit loss this year. So normally what happens is that when the economy falters or it starts to get bad or negative, and as things start to go in a negative way, people start to steal more. People start to, push that extra line on crime. And this is the same thing that's happening here as we look at Target. And I'm sure it's happening across many other organizations in terms of corporations, where people are just pushed a little over the edge to be able to go ahead and bring in something a little more for their family, like porch pirates, here Target, you name it. I bet it's happening in all sorts of other companies as well. So there's a lot more loss here that's happening. Anyway, the other thing that's kind of interesting with Target is they warn of a weak holiday season. Shares are tumbling, and that's to be expected, right? There's a lot of job layoffs. When you look at things like Amazon's been doing, and Meta, jobs, they've been looking to cut and looking to lay off 11,000 workers. Amazon here, 10,000 workers. And then if you look at Twitter, job loss, Elon Musk here given an ultimatum to decide the job fate, and also cutting employees. So there's a lot of firing going on, and a lot of companies are basically looking to go ahead and protect the business and company. So as we look into this Target, it warns of how weak holiday season is to be expected, right? There's a lot of jobs being lost. A lot of people are making less money. Interest rates are higher, but this is exactly what the Fed wanted, right? So when we look at the Fed, the Federal Reserve, they want more people to lose jobs. That means more people have less capital to spend. And if you have less capital to spend, that kind of, shall we say, makes the dollar value worth a bit more, because people don't have as much cash, and therefore, the price of goods maybe will slow down the acceleration of those prices. I don't think it'll really fall that much, but it might stabilize, at least stop from going up as quick. Maybe certain things like houses, they might kind of pull back a bit, but and maybe retail automobiles and the larger stuff. But overall, I think things more or less will stabilize. Like you look at copper wire, electrical things, this copper's been around for, 50, 60 years for the wiring. I think those things will stabilize, but I remember I used to pay for a spool of wire for $60. Now they're at $280 or so. So yeah, definitely a lot of things have increased in prices. So anyway, when you look at this, Target's profit plunged 52% in the third quarter. If you check out the articles, there's a lot of negative sentiment here. If we look at just overall the stock price in Target, and we look at kind of just on the monthly cycle, the stock's been weathering the storm a lot better than many of the other companies. So overall, this we've been going up. Then we got a pullback. This is kind of the A to B, B to C, C to D pattern right here. And then if we look at kind of the weekly cycle here, when you look at this weekly area, we've been kind of going right here, this little consolidation spot or zone. Now, it's quite possible this thing could roll over more. We've got some volume building over here when we look at Target right here. So yeah, there we go. So we're getting possible rollover here with some volume, and that could be a little bit of an issue there. If we look at kind of the daily as well, and we start seeing what's going on here on the daily cycle, you're really realizing, we spiked up quite a bit here, euphoria, possibly because of the Walmart stock. And then when you start looking at this right here, it just tanked and sold back off, kind of where it initially started that breakout. And if you compare this to Walmart, take a look, it kind of did a little bit of the opposite. So we kind of started to roll over a bit, and then, oh, there it goes, a little bit higher. So anyway, when you start looking at some of these things, it's very interesting to see just things coming into here on the holiday sales front, what's going on, what's happening. And also just overall, it's sad to say the organized crime thing. I think that's just part of business these days of what's going on and what's happening, unfortunately. And as more people lose jobs, they don't have enough money. Yeah, cars get broken into, cars get stolen, pickpocketing, retail crime. I mean, you name it, it happens more when economic times are harder. That's just human nature. I totally get it. I understand it. It happens because some people are pushed over the line and, do those things to try and better their life, I guess, in times of hardship. So anyway, this is kind of what we've got going on here with Target. Looking in the future here as we take a look at the stock chart right now. Normally after earnings, you've got to go ahead and give it 3 to 5 days to allow it to digest, to see what it's really going to do. Oftentimes these gaps do get filled because this is a large move right here. So here we're at around 157, 160. And, we were way up here at 180. So that move is quite significant when you look at it. So it's quite possible we'll play in here or get filled at some point because we're probably a little extended. But nevertheless, the stock is struggling a little bit. And come holiday season time, that could be a little bit more of a problem. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy the rest of the week ahead. And I will see you next time.